and to co-panelists. The problems are not entirely new, apart from one, which is new, a problem that was resolved in the past, and I don't know how it resurfaced this year. But generally, the issues relating to parents' resentment to schools that the computer plays them are normal, and they're going to be with us so far as we have inadequate resources as a lower middle income country. The government of Ghana has adequate spaces to accommodate all 590K or so candidates who have qualified for placement. What the government of Ghana does not have is the taste of all the 590K students. So there will definitely be some disequilibrium between the expectation of candidates, parents on one side, and government's ability to provide education to their taste. Everybody wants to attend a good category A and category B school. We have about 700 plus senior high schools. And then you have people chasing about 100 schools. So these, issues will continue to emerge insofar as there are resource deficits. The only one which I said that is not new because is the day issue. The day issue had been resolved. 2018, 2019, we did some studies in the northern region and also in western region. Specifically in western region around Adiambra, the locality within which St. John's school, St. John's sits. We found that there are many students living in the slum there, 16, 15-year-olds living on their own. And attendance social vices, does not require any further repetition here. And so we, as part of our recommendations to the ministry, emphasize that placing students in districts outside their junior high schools was catastrophic because we're exposing them to living on their own when they are children without any parental or teacher supervision. And we cited a Adiambra case. There were reported pregnancies and other issues that affected them. And you go to a room, as a slum, you go to a room and you find about 6 people living there. It wasn't healthy. So sometime around 2019 or so, we realized that the ministry introduced a mechanism where one was unable to select a day school if that day school was more than, 15 kilometers from the location of their junior high school. And that solved it. So for some time now, we never heard of any issue of I've been placed in a day school outside my district, my child cannot live alone. I don't know why we are having that discussion today, because I know many people, many of the centers that we visited, the commonest issue was day-to-boarding conversion. If you look at the cases, same thing. And I'll give one example. There's a girl who attended school in Jokwa. On the GES, on the placement form, the paper that they filled. Okay, so I have the paper that they filled, and then I have the placement sheet on the CSSPS. On the paper they filled, she chose first choice for some 3 girls, boarding. That's Ashanti region, but the girl is a junior high school candidate from Jokwa, Central region. Now, if you go onto the CSSPS, her form, you see first choice for some 3 girls, it appears there as B. So that is one dimension of the day-to-boarder issue. People who selected boarding on paper, had it changed today by those who did the inputting for them.
As an error. As an error.
Yes, but in the past, the CSSPS wouldn't have allowed that error to occur because Buson Train is over 200 kilometers from Jokwa. So it wasn't possible for that girl to have selected any school beyond, let's say, Chufo-Himai or beyond Cape Coast. But here's the case where the computer allowed that dating to happen. That's the commonest issue we have encountered, monitoring all the resolution centers. So apart from that, all the other issues emerging, I must say, are regular and systemic. Let me quickly say why I think they're regular and systemic. You see, if you read the Free Senior High School policy document, the policy document appreciates that the CSSPS, more or less, is at the center of its equitable access, system. In that is where the distribution of candidates to enjoy the opportunities under Free Senior High School exists. And so it's core, and it identifies that the CSSPS will be a major driver, of equitable access. If you read the policy further, in the results framework of the policy document, it acknowledges that by giving certain projections and targets for an indicator that it calls acceptance of placement. Now, here, it projects that from a baseline of 73% in 2016-2017, the projection was that by 2020, 96% of candidates placed by the computer would accept. That is key to achieving.
So Kofi's line is giving us some issues. We'll resolve that quickly, and yes, we'll resolve that quickly and get him to conclude the points he was making. Let me come in studio and talk to Obinfo Nana Kwesi Jetwa, who so I understand Kofi's back on. Kofi, yes. So you may go ahead with your points you're making.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that the CSSPS functionality is key in achieving the equitable access, targets under the Free Senior High School policy. If you look at the policy document, it provides in its results framework targets for percentage of candidate accepting postings in the results framework. And it projects that by 2020, 96% of candidates would have been accepting placement by the computer. However, by 2020, only 85% of candidates were accepting it. I just want to draw attention to the fact that there are gaps in acceptance of placements not envisioned in the Free Senior High School policy. It wasn't envisioned in the risk analysis. In fact, I didn't see the risk analysis session, but it wasn't envisioned as a risk. But there were projections upon which 96% of candidates accepting their placement by 2020 was key in ensuring that equitable access objectives under the policy are met. So if by 2020 we were at 85% acceptance, it meant that there were issues. What were the issues? Our studies over the past tells us that one key reason why Kofi may not accept placement to a school is the state of facilities in the school. That's the first. There are many ones. The major one is the state of facilities. I go to the school, I look at the place, and I don't think I want my ward to spend the night there. Okay, so let's look at the state of infrastructure. By 2024, December, preliminary data we obtained from the GS indicated that 5,000 classrooms were needed in senior high schools. About 9K dormitory rooms, about 9K teacher flats for accommodation, and then about 300K.
Yes, go ahead. So we're having quite some issues with Kofi's lines, but yes. So let's come to Obinfo whilst Kofi resolves his matter. He was giving some data we were really interested in.